यतो हस्य ततो दृष्टि यतो दृष्टि ततो मनः यतो मनः ततो भावः यतो भावः ततो.
You met with so many prime ministers, presidents. Tell us about your experience with Indira Gandhi.
I would say that she liked arts and artists. It was in 75 emergency that Yashpal Kapoor, I said, I'm sorry, I can't perform. He says, आपको पता है क्या होगा? मैंने कहा धमकी मत दीजिए. After that, I was completely blacked out.
Can you separate art from the artist?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. When you are on public platform and you are giving messages, then there is a certain responsibility.
Tell me about this incident about your stint at the Sangeet Natak Academy.
I was replaced by Ramnivas Mehta.
But you were actually sacked.
Yeah. I was Sanghi, I was Saffron. I went for Vivekananda Centenary to Washington to dance. NDA appointed me. That was the biggest no.
That there was a witch hunt then too.
But for the first time, there was such cruel interference in the field of culture.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. My guest today is Sonal Mansingh, one of the noted exponents of Indian classical dance. Sonal Mansingh has trained in the Bharatanatyam, Odissi, Chhau and Kuchipudi dance forms. She's a former Rajya Sabha member and the recipient of Padma Bhushan in 1992 and Padma Vibhushan in 2003. A totally self-made artist, Sonal Mansingh has interacted with some of the most powerful people in India, which include former prime ministers, presidents and artists. Sonal ji, dhanyawad. आप स्टूडियो में आए. I am so grateful. It's been a dream come true to have you coming to our studios and speaking to us. So I'm most grateful and looking forward to this conversation.
I reciprocate gratitude, thanks and my delight.
Okay, so with Saraswati ji's blessings, let's start this conversation. You have led such a colourful life, for want of a better word. You have experienced, I guess, so much in a short span of time. So I wanted to know from you that at what time in your life did you feel that there is a divine reason that I am in this art form. I have been created, or I am one with God to perform in this manner, to be able to deliver on this art form?
Perhaps, the first time when I was 18 and a half, when I finished my BA, Elphinstone College, Bombay, and the usual family, my grandfather who had been governor of Mysore, and mother and father, and ab kya karna hai? So, various suggestions. And mother, of course, such big families are asking for your hand. Be a lawyer, you are brilliant. And somehow, after some no prior thought, what came out of it, I want to say from here. In Gujarati, it's my Matrubhasha, I'm a Gujarati. I said, Mare to dance aj karo hai. I want to dance only. And they said, yeah, but you dance, as you're doing, you just only dance, not this, that, and other. Nahi, biju kahin nahi. So, silence. 2 days of. And then I ran away from home.
Okay.
So I collected my German scholarship from the bank at that time, Went to Victoria Terminus Station, bought a ticket to Bangalore to my Bharatanatyam gurus. At that time you had to change train from Pune, and sit in a meter gauge. And I took that, I stepped through and went there, 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night, pedal rickshaw. They'd gone to see a movie, so the door was locked. When they came back, they said, who's that? And I said, Sonal, what are you doing here? And I said, sir, I ran away. That was that.
But I mean, it was a huge decision. You're talking about the
1963.
1963. Wow. I mean, at 18, I guess life would have been otherwise, married and go on that path, right?
Married or do MA or sit for the services exam or take
Or
law.
politics, because you were from a political family also, right?
Yeah,
Your
but
father was
politics
a
was never
grandfather was a governor.
Yeah, but never suggested. No, he was also, they were all in independence movement and
Huh.
all that. But, yeah, no politics, but all the other options were given to me. And, well, there I am. So that was one.
Huh.
And the second was when I met with that bad accident, very, very terrible, almost fatal, in Germany in 1974. And the doctors, German surgeons said never dance, maybe walk normally after 2 years. And then within 1 year, the chiropractor in Montreal put me on my dancing feet. And he said, you have done a miracle. You demanded from nature, and the nature gave you a new bone growing between 11th and the 13th vertebra, like a bridge. He said, I've never seen that. So then I was confirmed. I said, maybe
Yeah.
that's what Bhagwati wants me to do.
I was in school and I remember reading, I mean, this was pre-Google times, right? So I remember reading about it in Reader's Digest.
Correct.
About one of those, life experiences. And I was thrilled that, an Indian has featured in Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
Because in those books, in those periodicals, it was only about somebody bear attack or somebody who's been kidnapped. You know what I mean? But here was an accident, a deer, and all that. And man, she's an Indian, and how she's recovered and all that. And of course, I was interested in the arts, so it was very interesting. But yeah, I mean, your life has been so inspiring for young artists to know that you have gone through these ups and downs. I'll get into various aspects of it, but being a journalist, I have to ask you, what was it like to be in the Rajya Sabha, in the thick of politics? Tell me that. We'll go backwards after the Rajya Sabha.
Whatever, you can go zigzag, like my book.
Okay, so you were sitting amidst all these politicians, noise, rude exchanges of words, sharp language used, something that is not in your sphere of activity, which is creative work. Did that shock you? Was that experience? How was that experience in Rajya Sabha?
Total experience was something that I would recommend to everyone. The majesty, the gravitas of the ambience. Then the close proximity of some big names, especially in the old Parliament building. The Central Hall was wonderful. One, made friends with across party line. And I remember 2019 or 20 was it, when the 370 article was voted out. And I said, I'm one of the 125 who voted for it. Heard a lot of people, heard Prime Minister's speeches. Politics later on, I think it became, in the new building, I found that somehow every 2 years there's a new in Rajya Sabha. Too much. And at that point, sometimes one felt a little, why? Say things in a way that is civil, that is well considered. People don't expect this kind of behavior from members of parliament. But then one also learned that, streets sometimes come in the house.
Yes.
Streets come in the house.
Yes.
And one has to bear with it. One has to take it. And I always looked at Prime Minister and others who sat like Buddha. Amazing. They were hathapais, and they were, throwing of papers, and even in the old house, climbing on the table. And
Yes. In Rajya Sabha. One doesn't expect that in Rajya Sabha.
yeah. And you remember that one telephone, what was that, P, from the P, that horrible thing, that everybody's being tapped.
Huh. Yeah, Pegasus.
And they came with a pink telephone and with the cable running, and they surrounded the table, where the officers sit and write. And I said, what is this going on? Is this a circus, a comedy, or... So a few things came as a shock to me. But then one learned to, deal with it. But also getting a chance to speak on various subjects, and people would say that we never expected an artist to, yeah,
Did they say that?
yeah. And
Wow.
that was so wonderful for me.
Huh.
Because nominated member, they don't expect this, that we've had, this, that, and other, and people hardly spoke. And here I was fully participating. My presence was noticed. I was regular. I was sitting through debates. I was listening. And sometimes I also, countered and all that. And my participation was much appreciated. So I thought that dumb dancer.
Did they actually think that you were that?
No, I said to myself that they didn't expect
Huh.
कि एक आर्टिस्ट भी इतना इंटरेस्ट ले सकता है, बोल सकता है, and talk intelligently, to the point, and giving a new perspective.
So Abhinay is not just with expression as in facial expression and hand gestures. It can also be through a verbal
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then somehow or other, being a dancer,
They don't
there would always be something, and they said, we always watch you. It's very interesting when you speak.
because you're very expressive. Yes.
It happens.
It
no?
happens. Yes.
Kya
Yes.
karenge? You also, I'm sure,
Yes.
you've had to curb yourself, maybe.
Yes, it's a very difficult thing to keep a deadpan expression, I guess, because the training is to emote. So that comes out at every point of time. It's difficult. I think in the Natya Shastra they say that where the heart is, the eyes have to go, and where the eyes go, the hand has to go.
Yato hasta,
Huh.
tato drishti. Yato drishti, tato manaha. Yato manaha, tato bhava. Yato bhava, tato rasaha.
There. So you expressed it beautifully. That's true.
But I'm so happy to learn that you learned Bharatanatyam. You're a dancer.
So I think in South Indian families, that's something or the other, either
Normal.
music or
It's
dance,
normal.
classical.
Absolutely.
So did you learn music too as a child?
I learned
Okay.
Hindustani music for 15 years, and then South Indian, of course, came with it, and the Odia system of music,
Okay.
about which people know nothing.
Huh.
Yes, it's a very different system.
Huh.
And Odisha is between south and north.
Huh.
And it is a very, very old system.
Okay.
And like the Odia script,
Huh.
it's round. The gamakas and all that is round, not staccato like in Carnatic music.
Huh.
And the ragas are different.
Okay.
And they'll go back to Sangeet Ratnakar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you learned the Orissa form of music when you learned Odissi
Right.
dance
Right.
form,
Right.
or you did at
Yes.
that time?
And the Carnatic music, of course.
Did you have to unlearn from the Karnataka and Hindustani forms to learn the Orissa form?
No. It added.
It added.
It
okay.
added richness and understanding.
Okay.
There's a context.
So, did it, one would think that Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi are somewhat similar. Did Odissi dance form, did you have to make a lot of changes in your abhang, in that when you do that tribhang, sorry? Because the body moves in that 3-dimensional form, right? Or a 3-bend form.
3-bend.
As compared to Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, which doesn't. So, can you explain to most of our viewers and listeners how that works?
That's very interesting. How the same body, can take on different shapes and forms, and the technique can take you to a different perspective. So, Abhanga, First is Samabhanga, Abhanga. Abhanga is a slight flexion to one side from the hip. Tribhanga from the neck and the waist and the hip. And it's so graceful. Speciality of Odissi is a independent work of torso. The torso just, not hip. And that gives it
Lachak.
lachak, lyricality, grace. And when you show taranga,
The wave movement. Okay.
I would say that Bharatanatyam also has Tribhanga. You look at all the sculptures in
Yes.
South Indian temples.
Huh.
Then why was it cut out? Now these dancers are coming back, the young
Yeah.
dancers are bringing it back.
Yeah, when you look at the sculptures, when they have the mridang, the pakhavaj, or whatever you want to call it, it is in a tribhang form. When she's holding it, the idols are holding it, or the sculptures holding it, you can't sit, right? It has to be have that slight shoulder flex.
See, when you play,
Yeah.
it's automatic.
Huh.
No,
Yeah.
that's a dholak or whatever. But
Yeah.
it automatically happens. And
Huh.
the emphasis of the arms and hands, thap, it comes with that.
Is Odissi similar to Manipuri art?
Ayo,
dance
no,
form?
no, not at all.
Really?
Not at all. Odissi and Bharatanatyam, I would say, are the oldest Shastriya dance forms. And I see them as complementing each other because I've learned both.
Both, huh?
Where Bharatanatyam has a larger, framework
Huh.
within that. Odissi is filigree.
Huh.
But you see the choke of Odissi, my God, you won't be able to do it. A
Yeah.
deep choke.
Yeah.
Here is Aramandi of Bharatanatyam.
Huh.
And the Tribhanga of Odissi and the torso movement, Vaksha Chalan.
Huh.
And where you say, Yahi Madhava, go away.
Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava. Huh.
And you say, Yani, there's a delicacy.
Yeah.
And I find that so enlightening that my same body could do both. And when President R. Venkatraman saw that, Dvivarna, 4 bars of Alaripu, 4 bars of Mangalacharan, 4 bars of this, 4 bars of that, Varnam, Sabhinay Pallavi. He says, what is this? 4 musicians here, 4 musicians there, pata, and the same body, the body intelligence, how it could change like that. And nobody, your Odissi is perfect Odissi, your Bharatanatyam is perfect Bharatanatyam.
Yes. I must have been 8 or 12 when I first saw you perform. And I couldn't tell the difference that you had learnt in like Bharatanatyam form because your Odissi was so perfect. So usually those who have learnt Bharatanatyam are so within a framework.
But you never saw my Bharatanatyam.
No, I haven't. I've only seen you perform Odissi. I've seen videos, but I've never seen you perform Bharatanatyam on stage. On stage, I've only seen...
because you're a much later entrant.
That's true. By then, you had become so famous in the Odissi style. And there were just 2, Sanjukta Panigrahi and you.
Correct.
Just 2 of you.
Correct.
And there was Shobna Narayan as far as Kathak is concerned. Of course, Bharatanatyam, there were many at that time. There was Yamini Krishnamurthy also and so many, that I've seen. But let me now rewind because I'm sure my viewers and listeners are saying, "Tum idhar se udhar jump kar rahi ho, ek sequence mein baat karo." So let me talk to you about that period when you ran away from home and you landed up at your guru's residence and said that I want to learn the art form.
No,
right?
I had already learned.
You had already performed.
61 Arangetram was
Arangetra.
done. 63 after BA I ran away.
So what gave you the confidence that this was a career path?
No, I never thought of it as that. That's the whole beauty. I'm telling you that my innocence became very famous. I just wanted to dance. I could think of nothing else. And I was reading Gita Govinda and I was reading up and I was reading up and I was reading Nietzsche and I was reading Anais Nin also side by side. And and I was, Ulanova and Marco Fontaine and this and that and all. And here was this gorgeous Bharatanatyam, and my body just blossomed. I felt the happiest when I was dancing. So what else could I do?
So you land up and then you start learning again
Further,
or relearning
further.
right? And at what stage did you feel that I need to learn more than just Bharatanatyam? I need to learn another dance form.
Oh, that's another story. That has something to do with my first marriage.
Lalit Mansingh.
Yes. So he was in Geneva. He couldn't come back for the engagement. But his father wrote to my father, and my father said, "What is this now?" And my grandfather said, "Let her be. Let her do what she wants."
Which is to marry him.
Yeah, but you have to. They wanted to have engagement, and they were inviting us there,
To Orissa.
Katak.
Katak.
My father opened the atlas. He said at that time, 1965, how do we go? So I think we went to Calcutta then, and then took a train. And there was much excitement all around. And I was engaged to the family sword. They were Khandayats. Khandayat yani Rajput.
Okay.
Orissa.
Huh.
And then my father-in-law, Dr. Madhar Mansingh, a very highly respected poet, educationist, and he said to my father, leave her with us, we want to get to know her, let her... My father happily left.
Okay. Quite innocent.
है ना?
Huh.
Hey, 1965, can you think about it?
Huh.
And I stayed back, and we dropped him at the airport, Bhubaneswar. There was a hopping flight, something, every twice or thrice a week. And my father-in-law said, "Okay, get ready. I'm taking you to..." So we went, Kala Vikash Kendra. And they all came and fell at his feet and all, Kelu Babu and other teachers also. But he pointed a stick at Guru Kelu Charan Mahapatra and said, "Kelu, e hochi mo bau sonal, tume taku odisi sikhaibo." It was an order.
Huh.
This is my bahu.
Daughter-in-law. Huh.
You will teach her Odissi. That was that. Straight away started
With Kelu Baba.
with Kelu Babu. And because it's a trained body and an eager mind, I drink dance, I could learn Mangalacharan and Batu. Then I went abroad to get married because he couldn't come again, no leave.
Where was he posted?
Geneva.
Okay.
And with my Bharatanatyam and Odissi, little bit of that, I was touring all around. I remember the Luxembourg, India Friendship Society was just opened in Luxembourg. Pandit Ravi Shankar was there at the inauguration on first day. I was going to dance on the second day on recorded music. And Mani Shankar Iyer was then he was Lalit's batchmate. So he was there. And so when there were, all these encores, I said, see? I said, watch me tomorrow. He still quotes it. And the next day, of course, he was running my, the big tape recorder. You had to run that. Grundig. I got equal number of encores. Afterwards, I told you, see, watch me.
Okay.
So that was 2 years of Europe, where I danced almost all over Europe. And then we came back, he was posted back to Delhi. And then I stayed on in Delhi. Much more than Bombay. I've lived in Delhi.
But then you didn't, in your biographies, in your people who have written about you, say that you felt stifled in that traditional form of being an IFS officer's wife and going from posting to posting. You needed to explore your art form, which probably that life wouldn't have offered you.
I was already dancing everywhere. And when in 71 he was posted to Kabul, I did go. I used to go back and forth because I had my dance. And I was being sort of all over India and abroad. I went to Osaka Expo 70 and on delegations and all that. But a couple of things happened, and then, it was not all that.
Not to be.
No, not very happy situation. So, mutual consent. Tum bhi sukhi, main bhi sukhi. And I wanted nothing. No settlement, no nothing of any sort. So that was that.
That was also in the 70s, a divorce of an artist was quite talked about, wasn't it? Did it at that time bother you that people are talking about this?
Not really, but Guruji, Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra, sort of shunning me.
That was an
that was-
unpleasant experience for you,
That
right?
was very, very sad experience. Later on, he realized. He came home much later. I did his Pada Puja and all that. Yeah. And then, also the wives saying, be careful, huh? Be careful of her. And I used to laugh. I said, I'm not bothered about anyone.
Like you're a predator or something.
Yeah, I'm not. These men don't interest me at all. How to tell their wives? They'll be so offended.
But tell me about that experience. Why do you think Kelucharan Mahapatra did not accept you when you were such a great shishya?
Because of this. That you have done this, you are no longer. And he just kicked me out, literally kicked me out.
That experience, you fell at his feet. Tell me about that.
Kya? Oh, Smita. I'd heard that he was very unhappy and all, and come to Delhi, J.C. Mathur's house, and Kumkum, his daughter, was my friend, and she said, Guruji has come, you come and meet him. And he was making pan seated on a baithak. And as usual, we always put our head
On the
at
feet.
the feet.
Huh.
And he kicked me on my head and turned away and called me names. I was so stunned, I had fallen back and I started crying and saying something. He just said, get out. So I went crying to Jeevan Pani, Oriya poet, scholar, whom Kamala Devi ji had brought on deputation to Sangeet Natak Academy. And he said, don't worry, Guruji ka laat bhi ashirwad ho jayega. And you'll grow. And true to those words, I grew. And much later, in Madras, it was not Chennai yet, people called me Rukmini Devi of Odissi. So,
Yeah. But
but one second.
go ahead.
I often feel, and I tell also people, students and all, that I have taken Guruji's Jhapad also. After Padma Bhushan Konark festival, they were all sleeping at 2:30 in the night. I was seated on the ledge of the green room window, and he came and said, he gave me one Jhapad and said in Odia, have you come here to sleep? And there are 50 people sleeping there at 2:30 in the night. And I just stood quiet. And I often say that today,
Yeah.
of course, I give a nice takak at the back. Stand straight.
Stand straight.
Or whatever.
Huh.
Nobody will take this.
Yeah.
Nobody. But
Is this good or bad that nobody will take it anymore?
no, it's good, bad, I don't know. I think that there has to be discipline.
Huh.
This went much beyond discipline.
Yeah.
But my discipline as a shishya, no argument, no protest, you can cry, you can hold your heart, but not a word.
I am conflicted on this if you honestly ask me. It made you it made you a greater artist, no doubt, because trauma is part of an artist's life. Without experiencing trauma, you can't emote certain degree of emotion. I feel वो चाहिए. And if you're born in a privileged home, you don't experience hunger. You don't experience that level of trauma. So somewhere that trauma helps. But at the same time, I feel the whole Guru Shishya thing led to a lot of exploitation also. And a lot of temperamental gurus.
No, exploitation, then that brings to my mind what certain dancers have been saying, sexual exploitation.
Okay, there are various levels. No.
But this is, I would say, it's not exploitation to me. It is a kind of a mizaj, temperament, and a kind of adhikar. You know, that you have that satta, that right over your students. Well, Guru, if you say Guru and teacher, difference. There's a big difference. Guru may be wrong. Guru is not always right. But it's not for Shishya to point out that you are wrong. It is for the Guru to realize which she or he does. That I can say from my experiences. The realization comes. And then there is so much, they're so contrite, they are so ashamed. And they shower you with blessings. And they even say कि बहुत बड़ी भूल हो गई, मुझे माफ करो. And what can the students say? Who am I to माफ करो? भगवान माफ करेगा. But that you had that realization to say that. That realization is very important.
Okay. In Guru Shishya Parampara, are the Guru playing favorites more often than not, encouraging only their daughter to become the next dancer, or encouraging their son to become the next dancer? I won't even go into the gharanas and the music side. I'm only concentrating today on Nritya. Do you not see that happening? Did you not experience that?
No, I didn't, fortunately.
Because your gurus didn't have daughters, I guess. But otherwise.
They had two sons. No, I think they were very enlightened. Professor U.S. Krishna Rao was chemistry professor, big cricketer. His wife came from a literary family from North Udupi, Mangalore side.
Yes.
And they were very different. They were very, very different. In their home, I met painters, writers, musicians, dancers, scholars, poets, and normal people also. Indrani Rahman had learned from them also. And Ram
Sanjukta
Gopal.
Panigrahi? No.
No.
Mrinalini Sarabhai? No.
No, Mrinalini's guru was different. But my guru, my guru, dono, Guru Patni, their guru was common. Rukmini Devi came much later.
Oh, okay.
So Ram Gopal, Krishna Rao sir and Chandabhaga Devi, they went together to Pandanallur to learn from Tata, the great Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai.
Pillai, okay.
And later then they shifted.
So none of them are from the Kalakshetra?
No,
tradition?
Kalakshetra is much later.
Okay.
Much later. And ours is Pandanallur style, the original. Kalakshetra mein kafi mix up ho gaya.
Okay. People in Kalakshetra would have a different view on that. What about Bala Saraswati? Have you seen her perform?
Absolutely.
Wow.
The first time in 1962, she went via Bombay to America, her first visit there. And Bharati Vidya Bhavan, I just sat.
Wow.
Mantra Mugdha. Tall, broad-shouldered, nothing, no attribute that comes in lotus petal eyes, kuch nahi. But what? I have no words. And later on also when I saw her, and my greatest joy was when I performed for the first time after recovering from accident. In 1975, I danced all over India and in Madras. She specially sent message that I'm coming to see her.
Okay.
And she came, and unfortunately no photographs.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But her, no, Bala Saraswati, I think, is unique in the world. And at that time, they used to say there were three great ballerinas. There was Bala Saraswati, there was Margot Fontaine, and there was Maya Plisitskaya.
Okay.
Or Galina Ulanova, one of them, the Russian.
Huh.
So that's Bala Saraswati.
Okay.
There's this Bejod. There's no parallel. Extraordinary.
Okay. When you went to Kelucharan Mahapatra to learn Odissi, did he, when he was training you, did he say, no, this is Bharatanatyam. You have to stop doing it like this. You have to stop expressing like this. You have to stop moving your hands like this.
No. Because I'm a very diligent disciple.
Okay.
I'm very diligent. I'm very disciplined.
Huh.
And as I said, I drink dance.
Sponge, okay.
I'm a sponge, yeah. I'm a sponge. You know the three categories. The stone and the chalni ko kya kehte hain?
Sieve.
Sieve and the sponge. So Krishna Rao sir used to say, you have to choose what you want to be. Stone, water just flowed. Vidya just... chalni, the sieve, something remained, other... Sponge, absorb. And then when the moment comes...
Nichodo. Okay. So, when you were learning these two forms, did you at any point of time, when did you think that this is a career that can come from this? Because it doesn't pay much. For an artist, very few artists can eke out a living or could eke out a living in the 70s and 80s with art.
So I sent, I sold some of my little trinkets also. I used to borrow and then pay back 1,000 karke. No, I never.
For what?
No, but hello.
What were you selling and buying? Why? To pay fees?
To pay musicians.
For your performances?
But
Everybody thinks you're very wealthy, so it's hard to imagine.
even today, I don't own any property. I have no house. I've shifted back in some rented apartment again. But with my whatever performance monies, I built the Center for Indian Classical Dances. It's a registered society, 47th year now.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
So it was hard to perform when you were doing, matlab, to get the musicians to travel
No,
with
musicians were one. I had a team. You know, it's not like today
Huh.
that there's a pool of musicians and you just pick whoever is available. No.
you. Then?
I had my own team.
Okay.
They came every day. Wherever I shifted for 5 years, I was homeless in Delhi. Nobody knows. I think it's in that book.
Huh.
But they would land up wherever I was, in my small bedroom or in the veranda or in the garden or in the lawn or wherever in the basement. Rehearsals had to go on. So I had 4 musicians for Bharatanatyam and later on 4 for Odissi. And we worked every single day. So that's how my performances went. And everyone said so many new things, yeah.
Okay, so when all these dancers were performing, there was somebody or the other. There was an aunt, there was a mother, there was a husband who was singing, or there was a manager. Everybody from Vaijayanti Mala to Hema Malini to whoever I can think of, they all had somebody or the other. Who was your support? The Lord above. Or the goddess above.
Goddess.
Who's your Ishta Devta?
My Ishta is Kamakhya Devi.
Kamakya.
वैसे तो they are all. I love Krishna, I love Radha, I love Shiva, I love Parvati, I love everyone. Because it's such a beautiful world of mesmerizing beauty, divinity. But abhi Kamakhya ji has taken hold of me.
So you didn't find the need to rely on or to lean on a family member to help you with your travels, with your art form, to take it forward? No.
Family member.
A sister, a brother, anybody?
No, they're all happily married, settled, and in Bombay.
It was your life you were leading.
Yeah, I've been totally out of the pale. They love me very much. But then that's that.
Okay.
And also, I'll tell you something, a secret. No longer a secret after your podcast. That being in public domain, I really value my independence, my time, my space, my privacy. I need time. I can't have people all around me. I've traveled alone. Musicians are there, but I do my own thing. I wind up, I pack up, I unpack, I iron my clothes, costumes. I've lived like that.
Quite a free soul.
Yeah. And discipline. I don't want pa all the time. It gives me headache.
Okay. Tell me about your second marriage. How did you meet your husband?
Oh, in
to
Delhi,
be-
of course. Delhi is a happening place.
How much time between the first marriage and second marriage? You learned German, right? Or something at
That
that
was at
stage?
university in
At
Bombay.
university.
Yeah.
Was that what drew you to your second husband?
No. He was drawn to me.
Correction. Okay. Yes, as two feminists,
that-
we should say that.
But that's what happened. I'm sorry.
He came for your performance?
No. He sought me out the Munich Olympics, 1972.
Huh.
And he had to make certain images of India and all that. Somebody said, for dance to take her. So I was invited, and Kiru sir was staying with me those days. This was before.
Rapprochement has happened. Or not yet?
No. This
He's
was
still-
before the separation from Lalit Mansingh became known.
Okay.
So I went, there was nothing, and took pictures. And later on, I think slowly, I grew on him. And this is something people have said, that you grow on people. मैं क्या करूं? I live in my own. And so then it happened. And
Were you wary for committing yourself to a second relationship at that stage?
No.
No. Because with a foreigner, your art form, whether he would understand your desire to keep performing. to
Yeah,
do that.
he loved it. In fact, he helped quite a lot in organizing European tours while we were together. We got married finally in Montreal in 1975 after I recovered. And then again separated when he was posted out to South Korea. I was, as usual, Delhi, India-based, going and coming to Montreal.
Is it hard for an artist to encapsulate yourself in these traditional roles of a wife, a mother, a daughter, sister, and still be as free and pursue your art form?
I don't know. I think there are dancers who have children and who are dancing and who are wonderful. Sanjukta had 2 boys. They say, how many children do you have? I said, I don't know, I haven't counted. All my disciples are like my children.
And still you express Vatsalya without having become biologically a mother. Your Vatsalya Bhava is amazing. when
Yeah,
you
but much more than the biological mothers.
Yeah.
They love me and they confide in me and they do all that. And I just love. And then I can say, okay, ho gaya, jao.
In the years that you were performing in India, in the festivals, India Festival that used to happen, Festival of India, you used to represent in ICCR tours and all those tours and things like that. You met with so many prime ministers, presidents. Tell us about your experience with Indira Gandhi, Pupul Jaikar, people who you would have met so often. Like, not many people talk about their association or their interaction with Indira Gandhi and with Pupul Jaikar. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Indira Gandhi, I would say that she liked arts and artists. And as Foreign Service officer's wife and a dancer, she took me along on a cultural delegation to Afghanistan in 1969.
Oh, wow.
Then again in 1974 to Iran, Tehran. And in between also, And she used to have people, poets and all coming in So Mohammad Yunus would call and say, "Ye sab aa raha hai. Come on, you come." And security, what security? You just walked in. It was in 75, emergency, that Yashpal Kapoor, I said, "I'm sorry, I can't perform." And he said, "We'll send you special plane at performances in Bangalore lined up." I said, "I'm very sorry, I don't agree with this. The 20 Sutri program and the emergency and sing praises." I said, "I'm sorry." He says, "Aapko pata hai kya hoga?" मैंने कहा धमकी मत दीजिए. What was my age then? But I've always had this kind of a thing that if anyone tries to intimidate me, I'm sorry. I'm not for it. I won't take it. And that has, of course, made people say, she's arrogant, Sonal is arrogant. Sonal. Yeah, I'm all that. Sorry. Thank you. So after that, I was completely blacked out, no? From
You faced a
everything.
blackout during the years during
Yeah,
emergency.
yeah.
She.
Yeah. No, she,
because-
of course, but
Did you think she knew about what they were doing behind her back, or was it her orders? You don't know.
I suppose she knew, of course.
If
she
Yashpal
knew.
Kapoor called you, R.K. Dhawan
No, Yashpal was in charge of
of art and
whatever performances and jamborees they were organizing.
huh.
And
So they
lot of-
wanted you to do what? Choreograph?
No,
something.
perform.
Where?
In various places.
Oh.
And even today's best known names in music and dance, they all agreed. I was the only one who said no. Performing arts, I'm talking. So no Padma Award. Our friends Sanjukta, Uma Sharma, Padma Ji, they all got Padma Shris.
Yeah.
And then much later, younger ones also. Then President Venkatraman sent for it, for me. Because Gopal Gandhi told him that Sonal hasn't got any Padma Award yet. And that was how, 1991, he said, "Come and meet me."
This is after Rajiv Gandhi had been assassinated.
That
after
was it,
that.
yeah. This was 1991.
1991, huh?
So 92,
So-
I got my
Your first Padma Award.
Padma Bhushan.
Padma
He said
Bhushan.
only Padma Bhushan, not Padma Shri.
Huh.
Narasimha Rao was then Prime Minister.
Prime Minister at that time. Okay.
And but as Sushri Sonal Mansingh, I was dancing happily. And sometimes I said, it sounds like Sasuri. Sorry.
Well,
Another thing is I love
but you
to
were
laugh.
doing choreographing also, right? It wasn't just, and you were experimenting. There was fusion, but no confusion. There was fusion within the limits of classical dance at that stage. In spite of that, there was no recognition, you feel, or the recognition was pulled out during the emergency years.
Yeah, of course it was pulled out. When you sort of challenge and says, no, I won't be a part of that. How dare you? I mean, you remember how things happened. I mean, I wasn't pushed into jail, of course not. But to be blacked out from television, from radio, from government programs, festivals, newspapers, Padma Award, accommodation, lot of dancers and musicians got accommodation,
Yeah.
And I was homeless in Delhi. So,
Yes, the D1, D2 flats and things like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
in
yeah.
in Lutyens, Delhi
Yes.
was given to artists.
yeah, lot of artists.
But you did not get.
And
at that
later
time.
on in Asiad Village also.
Asian Games Village.
Yeah, but I thank my stars and thank my, what shall I say, saburi, my strength, Atmabal,
Huh.
what you call Atmabal. I'm not going to beg. I'm only going to pray, but no begging of any human being. क्या होता है? नहीं करना है. नहीं है तो नहीं है, ठीक है. But then after all, I got the Lutyens 11 Janpat bungalow as MP.
Yeah, but then. Yeah, I'm not saying too little too late because that would be judgmental on my part. But what I'm saying is that these things happen in politics, I guess. What was your reaction when you heard about this whole T.M. Krishna getting the Subbalakshmi award? Do you have a take on that? That's also politics and art interlinking.
Yes, I do think that was not right.
Why?
Again, I'm not being judgmental, but personally, I think that whatever T.M. Krishna has been doing is his baby. But it doesn't sit well with me or with so many other people. And then to be given deliberately to spite, as if MS Subbalakshmi Award.
Okay.
You give some other award, I have nothing, but MS Subbalakshmi Award. And his grandson also, her grandson, went to court. I think it was very, shouldn't happen. We have to have some respect.
Huh.
We have to have some respect for values, for tradition, for the beauty of the art that has been coming to us. You do what you want. You change it, you twist it, you introduce whatever elements. That's, kya? Self, what do we say?
Expression or whatever.
Expression.
Yeah. Huh.
But don't play with certain things. And there are certain things which are perennial. Values. I don't think we need to demean them.
What are those dairas? Like, for example, people have objection to an M.F. Hussain painting a Durga with the top part of her body not covered. There was a time I remember when Malika Sarabhai came on stage wearing a Bharatanatyam outfit without the pallu. I was a child at that time. I remember that being as something bold. Or a Pratima Bedi doing Odissi in a without
or running on the beach.
so where are the running on the beach was a private one, but while performing the art form, maybe not wear the palla. That was scandalous at that time.
At that.
Right. What she did in her private life, marrying, remarrying.
No. I'm
whatever.
not talking about
Yeah,
that.
but what are the dairas that you cross and it becomes too much? Where did Mr. Krishna go wrong in that daira?
Again, going wrong is judgmental.
Hai na?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying MS Subbalakshmi.
Okay.
Who's she? Respect for her. Respect for her values and tradition which she represented. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
He can do what he likes. This is music. But here is MS Subbalakshmi.
Okay, because she's traditional,
Traditional in every
iconic
way,
in every way.
and her
Okay.
music represented something. It was not kind of a very light kind of a music. It was something that made people cry. There was something divine. She was all the time engaged in sort of representing some divine energy. Like, we do. Why play with it? Why play with her name? Award could be for any other name. No problem.
Can you separate art from the artist? Is it possible? Like when we were talking about Pratima Bedi, I mean, her dance was fabulous, but there was her personal life. There's Mrinalini, who also is a great dancer, but there's her politics. Can you separate art from an artist's personal life?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Huh.
When it begins to reflect on the art, because art, when you are on public platform and you are giving messages, then there is a certain responsibility. That's how I look at it. I mean, I'm also married twice and all that. But that hasn't, I think, affected my art, what people see on stage. There is no kind of cheapness or kind of a thing. Oh, I don't know, I have no words for it, but you understand what I'm
Yes,
trying
absolutely.
to say.
There's not even a dilution. Forget about cheapness. That wo to
Dilution.
alag hi level hai.
Dilution.
Huh.
Yeah, thank you. So, but sometimes it affects in such a way that the art takes back seat. And the colors of personal life, they are seen in a much, much brighter way than necessary. Then people get confused. Right?
Yeah. I agree with you on that totally. That somewhere you have to, I guess, it does affect if you. But does one need to lead a compartmentalized life then? कि जब मैं आर्ट करूं तो मैं उस लाइफ को अलग रखूं.
Some people do, some artists do that.
Can you do it?
No, darling, thank you. How to do it? I don't know. How to do it?
Okay.
Because it's not a shawl or it's not a sari that you just take off and you again wear it and you come on stage and then you again take off and then
What inspires you? What has inspired you all your life? Is it nature? Is it music? Is it what inspires you on a daily basis to do something creative even now?
life. 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 What is life? To be alive, to experience, and thank God. Gratitude, have two eyes that see, observe, perceive. I have 2 ears to hear. My breath comes and goes. I can speak, I can sing. I have a mind that's working, that's absorbing. A body that's working. What more do I want? I'm free. But I can bring all that in, make it mine, and then again give it as my expression. How beautiful is that?
How much of yourself do you give to your audience when you're on stage?
I don't hold back.
Okay.
But that's not to say I jump around and leap around. No.
But
No,
you've
no.
learned chow. In chow करना पड़ता है ना? Jumping and because there are animistic movements in that, right? Derived from jungle, if I'm not mistaken. But correct me
There are
if I'm
two.
wrong.
One is a warrior,
Huh.
and one is the observation of birds and animals and water and hawa. And but that chow with my Odissi sits beautifully. Because I used to think Odissi is all very beautiful, very lyrical. Whereas the Tandav and in Mayurbhanj chow of Odisha, it does not use the mask. I found that. So I learned. I was the first woman to learn chow. And in 1974, before my accident in Germany, I had given a performance in Ashoka Convention Hall, which used to be the
Yeah.
place. And now the chow has taken over, you know.
Chow is very energetic and in
This
spite
one,
of,
yeah. All three, actually. No, two. The Purulia chow with this mask, Bengal. The Mayurbhanj chow. But Mayurbhanj chow also has Kalibhanga, which is the beautiful hip movements, the very graceful movements.
Okay.
A little portion of that. And the Saraikela chow from Jharkhand is very soft.
Okay.
Mask also, but very delicate. Chow, there are 3 chows.
Okay, I didn't know that. I've only seen one in which I found like birds, animals, warrior, and
But no mask.
But no mask.
That's the Mayurbhanj, Odisha.
Mayurbhanj. Okay. And I found that very fascinating, that style. Even the music was very energizing kind of music.
But you know what is so beautiful, and I really lament that era passing away. Royal family princes used to dance.
oh, I thought they only gave patronage. They didn't.
No, they
perform.
danced, they learned.
Okay.
Saraikela, but Mayurbhanj is one of the 5 largest native princes, kingdoms in India. Mayurbhanj.
Okay.
And they all danced. Saraikela, princes danced.
You know, we were talking about Indira Gandhi. I also asked you about Pupul Jaikar. Did you interact with her?
Yeah. Pupul was the daughter of the family that lived just across from us in Bombay. So her mother, Iravati Ben, and her father we didn't see because he passed away. ICS, you know. And Pupul, Nandini, all these sisters. Pupul Ben was very, of course, arty. And I must say that exquisite taste.
In sarees or in everything in life?
Life, I don't know. Saris definitely.
Huh.
And very picky.
Huh.
And of course, Indira Gandhi relied on her totally.
Yeah, what was that relationship? Lots of people talk about how close they were.
Yeah.
Was she like a sister to Indira Gandhi? What was that?
No. I mean,
Indira Gandhi was a very quiet kind of a person, right? She didn't trust many people. They say that she was very to herself.
I didn't know her that closely, but Pupul Jaikar